Welcome back, everybody. My name is Keegan. Today I am here in the southern Sierra Nevada of California on the east side. So, fun fact about the High Sierra of California, the stretch between Mammoth and Lone Pine is one continuous chunk of granite that formed under the earth, and when it rose up, it tilted. So what you have is my forearm represents the west side, which is a slow slope going up to the crest, which is my knuckles.
Hey there, Keegan at home, just cutting in quickly, interrupting Keegan on site for one sec, just for clarity. So the mountains rise slowly from the west side. So if you're driving from the west side, you take these meandering roads, and the crest is actually on the east side, and then it drops straight down to the Owens Valley, which is here. And actually in Lone Pine, in one of the shops, there's a great picture of it, so let's take a look at that. You can see here in this picture how it's just a cliff. The whole east side coming down to the Owens Valley is just a cliff, which means on the west side, you're draining all this area. So you've got big rivers on the west side, the Kings River, the Cahuilla River, the San Joaquin River, the Kern River, whereas on the east side, you're only draining a tiny amount, this snowpack, and it's coming straight down in these little tiny creeks that come down the east side, and then they meet the Owens River in the valley. All right, back to Keegan on site.
So this is all the Owens Valley. You might recognize this is Alabama Hills. So Mount Whitney, the highest point in the lower 48 states, is just sort of upslope from there. And that's Lone Pine, the town of Lone Pine. We are right above the town of Independence. So behind me, in these trees, is Independence Creek. So this creek that tumbles down here is being fed by the snow way up there, even past these mountains. And then there's a whole basin of lakes, and then it flows down. But it flows straight down from 12,000 feet to 4,000 feet, almost straight down. So it makes for very technical fishing. I fished it yesterday, caught some small browns, caught a good sized rainbow, probably about 12 inches. I'll show you, I also had a lot of fun putting the underwater camera in the water and seeing how the browns are holding. From the little ones, I mean, again, they're like right at your feet. You don't even know they're there. It's super cool.
Keegan at home again. If you like that underwater footage, search my other videos for underwater brown trout, and I'll put a longer clip of all the underwater footage I took. Super cool. Now we're gonna do just like a minute of fishing from the first day. Sound quality is not that good because it's all recorded on my iPhone, and then we'll get into today's fishing.
I know, he got the hook at his mouth. There's gotta be some fish in there. Look, that's a beautiful brown trout. Oh my gosh, pulled him right out of there. All right, we've been pulling little browns out of holes like this. So I can see a brown trout holding right there in that pool. Okay. Beautiful brown.
All right, that was a little bit of the first day's fish, and now we'll get into the second day. Much more technical. I'm still sort of learning as I go, and this is my first time on a stream of this type, so I'm talking out loud, I'm talking through the problems. I find it interesting. Maybe you will, maybe you'll be bored. I'll put little chapter markers down in the bottom, and then we'll talk about gear at the end.
So here's a wider view of where I'm standing. The creek runs down there in those trees. What do I have for today? I should have brought a smaller net because these are all small fish, but I've got the Yakota Pax hip pack, which I love, and the Dragontail small landing net, which I love. And over on this side, walkie-talkie so my wife can tell me if the kids have an emergency, and the Dragontail Kaida. I'll talk about gear at the end, but let's go try to catch some fish. And we're just gonna make our way down this steep embankment here. Kind of gonna go fast. You ready? Here we go. With this loose rock, you can kind of just ride it almost like you're snowshoeing. So when you step and you slide, you just go with it. It's really called scree, I think that's the technical term. It's fun. Then we got all this sagebrush in here, and then the mountains up there. Let's go find the creek. Yeah, beautiful. Lovely lupine. Tons of them. So cool. So one of the cool things that's happening right now, it's June 1st, is the snow melt is very high. So you can see the stream is actually overrun its banks, and there's little extra streams now just flowing along the side of the main stream, just through the woods. Super cool. Look at this beautiful little patch. Just like running through the forest and the ferns, and then here we'll get to see where it spills from the main stem. So you can see this creek is just raging. All right, we're gonna cross very carefully. It's very swift. And so when you're fishing in a creek like this, you gotta find spots where it slows down. It's the fish's only chance. And so right in here, that's maybe good. Over here, maybe right even at our feet right here. But also, like I said, it's technical because there's so many branches around that it's like the kite is almost too long of a rod because you're constantly in the way. But we'll set this up, see if we can pull something from out of here. Okay, yesterday, they would bite almost anything as long as I could get it in front of them. Can I pop it in there? Sort of, not really. Yeah, it's really hard to find a spot. The water's taking it under that log, so I gotta get my line back. Okay, I've got it. But yeah, it's like, I need like a 180 centimeter rod for this creek. It's like a tiny thing. There's almost no chance of casting anywhere. It's just dipping the fly. But it's finding spots where the water's moving slow enough that they could be holding. I'm already stuck on this branch. Also on these high-flowing creeks, you never know how recent the debris in the river is. Yesterday I stepped on a boulder that looked very secure to cross the river, and the boulder just came loose and rolled down with a thundering, the water just took it all the way down. So even this tree, I don't know if this tree is gonna just give way. It feels pretty sturdy, but you really gotta be careful. Okay, there's really not anywhere else. Can I switch my feet? Ugh. Oh yeah. All right, put the Kaida back in the pocket with both hands in case we fall. All right, let's move on. There's also tons of this wild rose blooming. It smells just like a rose because it is a rose, but it's lovely. A little prickly and really good at tangling level line, but pretty. I have some spots picked out from yesterday where I caught fish, and that's where I'm trying to get back to right now. I can think of worse places to be tramping around the underbrush looking for trout. Pretty good. All right, so got the Kaida, got a little copper john. Sinks a little bit. I had a lot of luck yesterday with a little nymph, just a little beadhead nymph, and I might go back to that if I don't have luck, but by the end of yesterday I was on a weightless futsu and they were hitting that too, so I'm going to go in the middle here with a copper john that sort of sinks. The Kaida is the perfect rod for this because it's durable, it's packable, it's the shortest rod that I have that still fits a line winder. Landing the fish among these sticks, and there's probably a fish right under there. I can see one. There's a fish right there. I'll get the iPhone out and show you. And so you can see that fish holding right there. Little brown. Now if I could get a fly there, I could catch him, but we're gonna focus our efforts down here because there's browns all through here. Again, landing the fish is going to be interesting, but the good thing about the Kaida too is it's got enough backbone that I can just lift fish out of the water when they're this size. I'm not even going to cast it, I'm just going to let it go down. On the branch already. Oh no. If I crawl down there and get it, yep, I do. You can see all these bugs, they're hatching. All right, where's the line? There it is. At some point you're like, is it worth it? Maybe I can hook it with my foot. Let's see. How'd you fall in the river? Oh, it either broke or came loose. Broke. All right, we got a little tungsten beadhead ant. Been meaning to try this one out for a while. I use a Davy knot to tie my flies on. Just no real reason, just the first knot I learned and has worked so far. Not a bad place for a cabin, huh? I'm jealous. Okay, I caught 2 fish here last time. Big rainbow came right out of that hole. So I'm gonna start just by dipping it in there. Good thing about here is we got some overhead space. So if I if I lose a hook set and it goes up, it's not gonna get tangled in the branches. It's tough too when the water is going so fast because it swirls around. Sometimes it takes your fly into the banks, into the sticks where you don't want it to go. There we go, there's a fish. Yep, oh, there's a brown, little brown. Okay, net. Come here, bud. Almost. Oh my gosh, this is comedy. Okay, got him. Whew. Beautiful little brown, wow. Gorgeous fish. Okay, hook is out. Get you back in the water. Wow, look at the par marks on this guy. Oh my gosh, that's a gorgeous fish. Okay, here you go, bud. All right, later. All right, so I pulled that little brown right here from out of this hole where this green dog ball is. I gotta get that. Where's my net? Come on over here, dog ball. Over here, dog ball. Come on. Oh my God, really? There it is, there it is. Oh, there it is. I got it. People bring their dogs up here and lose their toys. All right, so what I was saying was, when the stream is flowing this high, it's like they're just gonna be holding somewhere where it's calm. So over there in that eddy, at the base of some of these waterfalls, on the corners. And so it's really tricky to find a place that A, doesn't have trees above and you can access, because this whole trail is overgrown. But there's a bunch of little pools here, so I think I see a fish over in that one actually, I do. So we'll try our hand at a couple more. All right, so we pulled one from right in there. Now we're gonna hit the other bank over there, hit that one over there. I mean, maybe even right here. What I learned yesterday putting the underwater camera is they're usually holding right under your feet. There's a spider on my neck, okay. So stuck again and across the river. So I'm just gonna collapse the rod entirely, thumb over the top, pull it straight until it breaks. Oh, instead of breaking, I caught myself a stick. Yes, that means I still have a fly, excellent. You see what I mean about it being technical? It's like you make a couple casts and the water is not going the direction you think, and it's not behaving the way you expected, so you have to cast again, you gotta cast a different direction. Yeah, it's a little frustrating because the best holes, some of the best holes in this stream are just densely covered with brush. Like you get a foot or two above the brush, above the stream, and then it's just brush. All right, where else? I'm gonna try here one more time. Put that in there, back over here. There's a fish. Oh, that was a fish. Dang, that was a fish. All right, so that time I put it in the flow, and then I let the flow like bring it where it wanted to, and I kept it down. It's really hard to tell whether there's a strike. There's a fish. There's a fish. There's a fish. Oh, it's a bigger one. It's a bigger one. Might be the big rainbow. Let's see. Come on, buddy. Come on up. Just way into this rock. All right, I got a hand line him. Come on out. Come on out, dude. Come on out. Come on out. Oh, it's fat. Oh! Wow, that is a fat rainbow. Whew. Not the same one as yesterday, but holy moly, that's a fat fish. Fat fish alert. Fat fish alert. I had a thought that they stocked. Oh my God, this is a huge fish. I had a thought that they stocked up here, and I can tell this is a stalker. Look at the size of this. I mean, that's a 12, 13-inch fish. So we're gonna put this guy back. There you go. All right, so we're having luck at this hole. We're gonna go again. And actually try right here and then over there, and then the honey hole down there where we pulled that little brown and the big rainbow out of. Now I'm in the tree again. Every time. I took my fly and my tippet. That's annoying. All right, I lost that ant. It's a bummer, but I put on this Dragontail. This is Brent's warbird. I like it because it's big, it's visible. It's got that tungsten bead head. It won't sink quite as fast because it's got the hackle. I could just use a nymph, but I like this fly, so we'll see how it does. And you know what? I'm gonna go back to the same spot I pulled those other two fish out of. So coming from right here. Had luck there before, so let's do it again. Oh, I thought that might have been a fish. It's very hard to tell with this turbulent water and a tungsten bead head if it's clanking along the bottom or if you have a bite. And actually, the line winder that goes on the rod, people complain that it sort of kinks the line. But when your line is a little bit kinked, you can almost watch the line, and it's easier to see when it's pulling straight from a bite. So I don't mind that little bit of kink. The river's so loud, I might be getting a radio from my wife. Did I just hear her calling the radio over? Probably fish for another 20 minutes, then come back. Does that sound okay? All right, sounds good. I will see you in 20. The walkie-talkie is fantastic when you're with your family and you want to go fishing, and usually that means you spend way too long fishing and they want to leave and you want to keep fishing. So it's great to have the walkie-talkie to be able to communicate when it's like, no, let's go, fishing is over. There's a fish, there's a fish, another little brown, there's a fish. Whoa, he's fighting hard. Oh man, now he's caught in the stick. Oh shit. He's under the stick and he came off. I was watching where my feet were going to get down where I could net him, and he went under those sticks, and then I couldn't get him pulled back. Again, just so technical, so technical. Bummer. Here, instead I'll show you a picture of a little brown from yesterday, okay? We'll just pretend I caught that fish. Look, it's a beautiful brown trout. Let's go over here again. Man, it feels like too, like the fish take off and then in a couple minutes they're back in their spots. All right, what about up there? How far can I reach? How sturdy is this? It's gonna be a funny video when the branch breaks and I end up in the drink. All right, I'm gonna try one more time with two holes that I hooked up in before, just because there aren't a lot of spots. There's one. There's one. Oh, that was a fish. There aren't a lot of spots on this river that are open like this and aren't a huge headache. So anywhere else on this stream, when that fly flies up, you've lost the fly. There's a fish. There's a fish. Okay, keep him on the sticks this time. Oh, that's a big one. All right, here we go. All right, hand line. Give me the net. Oh no, he came off! That was a big brown. That was the biggest brown yet. I should have bent down to get the net. Yeah, so I'm learning, you know, and those really just, if you lift them right out of the water, they're probably more likely to get off than if you get the net down to them. So, live and learn. We're done with fishing and back we go. Signing off from the Eastern Sierra, about 6,000 feet. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye. All right, time to talk about gear. This is the Dragontail Kaida.
This is sort of my rod of choice when I don't know what the conditions are, but I know it's going to be a small stream. This is a zoom rod, 2-position rod, goes from 285-ish and then out to 320. Usually this is a great size for small mountain streams. I also like it because it's durable. The replacement parts are cheap and easily available. So if I'm bushwhacking and exploring something new and I think I'm going to be in the sticks and abusing the rod, this is a great choice. It's a pack rod, so it has a small collapsed size. So you saw me having it just in the pocket of my pants. And honestly, you could do that with any rod, but rods that are 25, 23 inches long, it's not comfortable. So this is about the longest size that I could put it in my pocket comfortably. The other thing I like about this size is it fits this line winder. I do love pocket rods that are this big, but there isn't really a good place to wind the line. So on a stream like that, where I really want to line the line up as I travel and find a new spot, and it's really hunting the stream for a place that's not just covered in bushes, that looks like you could fish it. So I really like having the line winder available and on the rod. And like the other thing to mention about the line winder, as I said in the video, was some people don't like it that it kinks the line, so the line ends up being a bit of a zigzag. But honestly, in these conditions, it really helped because I could see when the line was being pulled tight very easily. The line would just go from this to this. So that was kind of an added bonus I didn't expect. And you can see that I had a little green cider on the end of an orange level line. And that did help with visibility. In some light conditions, the green would be more visible. In other light conditions, the orange would be more visible. So I like that. That's a new thing I'm trying. What else to say about the Kaida? I don't know. Oh, right. It was even a little bit long for this stream. I mean, this stream, it was almost, you could have just fished it like in the old movies where you just tie a string to a stick. I mean, like, really, it was just dipping. There were a couple places where I could cast. I had a lane, but most of the time it was just find a hole and dip it. And as you saw, the fish were not spooky at all. They were literally at my feet many times. And so, yeah, I mean, even a smaller rod and also a stiffer rod. You saw me try to net the trout and the rod was just really bending all over the place. And this is sort of a soft action. It's not as soft as their Foxfire, but it's not as stiff as their Mizuchi. So the Mizuchi rod is something I might want to try out because it goes to even shorter. It goes to like a 240 type length, and it's a stiffer rod. So it'd be easier to steer that fish away from the sticks so I didn't lose it. It'd be easier to just lift fish up and out. And so I think a stiffer, shorter rod could have been more perfect in these conditions, but this one worked great. And this is definitely my recommendation for anyone looking for a first rod for small streams. It's really exceptional. Otherwise, the gear was great. I love the Yakota Pack's hip pack. My favorite feature about it is that it slides on the hip belt instead of the whole hip belt having to rotate. So you have a lot of connection to your hips. You can just slide the pack on and it comes to the front, comes to the back. It's great. And that's all I really have to say about gear. The Kabari I used were, they would bite anything. So I was using weighted nymphs, the tungsten bead heads, unweighted. You saw the unweighted futsu in the mouth of some of those browns, some unweighted Kabari. Yeah, so it's really just like if they can see it, they're gonna put it in their mouth and decide if it's food or not, and then you can set it. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. I know it was kind of technical and long. Hope it didn't get boring, but if it did, I'm sorry. And I'll see you in the next one.